What most people call overthinking is actually something completely different. It's not weakness. It's not anxiety. It's not being too sensitive. It's a system that was built carefully, quietly, by a version of you that needed to survive something. That version learned one thing early. If I think about this enough, I can stop it from hurting me. And for a long time, it worked. So you kept doing it, lying awake at night, staring at the ceiling, running scenarios that hadn't happened yet, rewinding conversations that already had, preparing for disasters that never came. You called it a problem, but your mind called it safety. And that difference between problem and protection is what this entire video is about. But where does this come from? For some, they were born more sensitive. For others, it was built by situations that required them to read the room before they even entered it. Picture a child who learned to listen before they spoke, who memorized the silence between words because silence in their house meant something, who rehearsed conversations in their head before having them out loud, just to make sure nothing went wrong. That child didn't learn to overthink. That child learned to survive. And here's the part that stays with you. The mind that kept them safe back then is the same mind keeping you up tonight. It never got the memo that things are different now. It's still running the same program, still doing the same job, still protecting you from a danger that may no longer exist. It's 2 a.m. The room is dark. The conversation ended hours ago. But inside your head, it's still happening. You said something, or maybe you didn't say something. And now your brain is running it forward, backward, sideways, trying to find the version where it goes better. You know that feeling, like that one time you stayed quiet even though you had something to say, and spent the next 3 days thinking about what you should have said. This is the replay loop, and it feels like torture. But here's what nobody tells you. Your brain is not punishing you, it's protecting you. It believes that if it replays the moment enough times, it will find the mistake, fix the mistake, and next time, you won't get hurt. Psychologists call this rumination, the mind's way of searching for control in situations that already passed. It feels like being trapped in a room where the walls are made of your own thoughts. And the door looks exactly like the answer you're still searching for. And this is where it quietly gets worse. Have you ever tried to make a simple decision and somehow turned it into a map of every possible disaster? You want to send one message, just one. But first, what if they take it wrong? What if they don't reply? What if they reply but in that tone? So you wait. And while you wait, you build outcomes. Hundreds of them, each one more specific than the last. And here's where it gets strange. You're not doing this because you're afraid. You're doing this because some part of you genuinely believes that if you think of every possible outcome, none of them can surprise you. Research shows the brain under stress treats uncertainty like physical danger. So your mind does what any good protection system does. It prepares, obsessively, exhaustingly, completely. Like packing an umbrella, a raincoat, and a boat for a walk to the corner shop. Because being caught off guard once felt like too much. So now you carry everything, just in case. But here's where it gets interesting. Stay with me here, because this next part changes how you see everything. Everyone thinks overthinkers are afraid of making the wrong choice. But that's not it. The real fear is simpler and much harder to say out loud. What if I feel something I'm not ready to feel? Because underneath every replayed conversation, underneath every 1,000 outcomes scenario, there is one moment your mind is desperately trying to avoid. The moment of just feeling it. The embarrassment, the rejection, the disappointment. Raw, unfiltered, real. So, your brain builds a wall of thoughts around that feeling, not to feel it, but to think it into something manageable. If I can explain why it hurts, maybe it won't hurt so much. Psychologists call this emotional avoidance, using thinking as a shield against feeling. It's like standing outside in the rain, and instead of going inside, you just keep studying the clouds. Thinking was never the problem. Thinking was the painkiller. And nobody reaches for a painkiller without a reason. The real reason goes even deeper. Slow, almost ironic, soft. You look Pong. Pause. Then with quiet sadness. That's the cruelest part. Measured, observational. From the outside, you're quiet, thoughtful, put together. Heavier now. Nobody sees the storm. Building with weight. Nobody sees that by the time you walked into that room, you had already rehearsed 17 versions of what might happen. Steady, methodical. You prepared for every reaction. You pre-forgave their worst response. You already planned your exit if things went wrong. Pause, then tired. And then everything went fine, and you were still exhausted. Grounded, factual. Because thinking this much doesn't just take time. Emphasized, clear. It takes energy. Slow contrast. The kind of energy most people spend on actually living, you spend on preparing to live. Informative brief. Psychologists call this hypervigilance, a state where your nervous system stays switched on, scanning for threats that may never arrive. Direct, almost frustrated on their behalf. Most people never see this part. They think you're overthinking small things. Soft, honest, aching. They don't realize for you, nothing ever felt small enough to leave unguarded. Nothing felt safe enough to just let go. Quiet, serious. And that has cost you. One word, heavy pause between each. Quietly. Every single day. Loud and significant. And this changes everything. Warm, leaning in like a friend. Here's something most people never notice about you. Genuine, admiring. You are remarkably good at understanding other people. Clear, grounded. Not because you studied it, not because someone taught you. Slow, meaningful. Because you spent years reading silence, reading tone, reading the space between words where the real meaning hides. Knowing, soft. You notice when someone says, "I'm fine," but isn't. Quiet awe. You catch the shift in energy before anyone else does. Warm, honest.
You remember small details because details once mattered for your survival. That's not overthinking. That's precision. And here's the thing nobody ever told you. Nothing is wrong with you. You were never broken. You were just someone who learned to feel everything in a world that moved too fast to feel anything at all. That sensitivity you were told was too much. It's the exact reason people trust you. It's why they come to you. It's why you're the one they call when things fall apart. You were always thinking. That was never the flaw. But wait, there's something else. You came here tonight, staring at that ceiling again, running something through your head that you couldn't put down. You came here thinking something was wrong with your mind. You leave knowing your mind was doing exactly what it was built to do, protect you. That shift is everything, because the goal was never to stop thinking. The goal is to slowly, Gently let that part of you know that you are safe now, that you don't need to run every scenario.
That some moments are allowed to just happen, without a plan, without a rehearsal, without a backup. Picture that ceiling one more time, the dark room, the quiet. What if one night, instead of replaying, you just let it rest? Your mind has been working for a very long time. It kept you safe when nothing else did. But it's allowed to rest now. You don't suddenly change. You slowly realize you never needed to. Your mind was never broken. It was just waiting for someone to finally say, "It's okay. You can come home now."